In a scathing public moment that's now gone viral, comedian Jon Stewart took sharp aim at Meghan Markle during his surprise appearance at Beyoncé's Cowboy tour in Los Angeles. The usually composed Stewart didn't mince words as he reportedly mocked Meghan's carefully curated public image, ridiculing her as an opportunist hiding behind fake smiles and theatrical tears. Following the show, cameras caught Stewart laughing off Meghan's latest media antics, calling her recent behavior a masterclass in artificial branding. His comments sparked a wave of reactions, intensifying scrutiny around Meghan's calculated public persona, which many now view as a crumbling mask barely held together by borrowed glamour and scripted emotion. The tension wasn't just comedic theater. According to close sources, Prince Harry confided in Stewart backstage, admitting that the smiles both he and Meghan put on during the tour were just for the cameras. He confessed they were merely trying to avoid the crowd's cold indifference and occasional boos, which followed them more often than the adoring cheers they once commanded. Harry, who once stood with pride beside the Queen, now seemed like a man struggling to justify his new role, a royal in exile overshadowed by the glitter of American celebrity culture. It was a brutally honest admission that shook the illusion of the happy, powerful couple they often portray. Jon Stewart didn't stop there. In one of his now trending jabs, he mocked Prince Harry's baffling attempt to reconnect with an old friend during a recent trip to England. According to local reports, Harry mistakenly knocked on the wrong door while trying to visit a former confidant from his army days, an embarrassing incident made worse by the paparazzi who captured his confusion. Stewart cracked a line about a prince who can't even find his way home anymore, drawing laughter but also highlighting the growing disconnect between Harry and his former life, including the nation he once served. Meghan, for her part, has not helped the public perception. Her emotional appearance on the Jimmy Kimmel Live, misreported by some as the Jimmy Kern Lima Show, was intended to promote her flailing podcast, but it quickly turned into a dramatic monologue filled with suspiciously timed tears. Audience members noted the stark contrast between her heartfelt words and the overly polished delivery. Many questioned whether the emotions were genuine or just another PR move designed to resuscitate her brand after months of critical headlines and waning popularity. Critics have pointed to Meghan's recent lifestyle shift as yet another example of her alleged insincerity. Over the past few months, she's been accused of mimicking Princess Catherine, adopting her fashion style, interior decor choices, and even echoing some of Kate's philanthropic causes. From the pale pastel wardrobe selections to the sudden involvement in early childhood initiatives, royal watchers are crying foul. She's not being inspired, she's imitating, said one royal analyst. It's as if she's trying to rewrite her own royal story using Kate's blueprint, but without the authenticity that earned Kate the public's respect. Behind the scenes, even longtime supporters are growing wary. Insiders say Meghan has increasingly isolated herself from former Hollywood allies, instead surrounding herself with a smaller team of brand strategists and legal advisors. Her inner circle now focuses solely on image control and commercial leverage rather than the humanitarian focus that once earned her a smattering of goodwill. The shift has not gone unnoticed, public trust has plummeted, and even A-list celebrities are reportedly distancing themselves from the Sussexes. Meanwhile, Stewart's remarks have opened the floodgates. Other comedians, media figures, and even former Palisades are speaking up. Jon said what many of us were thinking, one former royal correspondent noted. There's a level of artificiality in everything Meghan does, from her interviews to her charity appearances. It's all rehearsed, all managed. There's no spontaneity, no sincerity. The most damning criticism perhaps lies in the couple's own contradiction. They fled the UK for privacy only to chase every camera lens they could find across the Atlantic. Their deals with Spotify, Netflix, and various publishers have felt less like platforms for truth and more like stages for self-promotion. And when those platforms falter, as Meghan's podcast reportedly did, the tears come out, along with emotional narratives that critics say are overly convenient. In the end, Jon Stewart's mocking jabs did more than amuse a concert crowd. They cracked open a public conversation that's been brewing behind closed doors for too long. Meghan Markle's royal brand, once seen as modern and empowering, now teeters on the edge of becoming a cautionary tale. A story of how ambition, when unchecked by authenticity, can backfire spectacularly. And as Harry himself reportedly admitted, the smiles were fake. The question now is how much more of the Markle narrative is to The fallout from Jon Stewart's bold mockery is already echoing beyond Hollywood and Buckingham Palace. In Britain, public sentiment has hardened. A recent YouGov poll indicated that Meghan's favorability among UK citizens has dipped to an all-time low, with even moderate royal watchers expressing fatigue over what they call her victim-to-villain arc. Meanwhile, Stewart's candid remarks are being hailed by critics as a moment of truth-telling in the face of celebrity manipulation. Even within US media circles, once largely supportive of Meghan's transition from royal life to cultural influencer, there's been a noticeable shift. Entertainment outlets, once careful to frame her in a positive light, are now more willing to question her motives. The American audience doesn't appreciate being emotionally manipulated, said one media analyst. And that's what Meghan's tears and copycat tactics increasingly feel like: performative, not authentic. Further complicating her image are fresh reports that Netflix executives are reconsidering future collaborations with the Sussexes. Their previous content underwhelmed in both viewership and substance, and Stewart's ridicule only intensified the view that the couple lacks long-term creative viability. They sell drama, not depth, said a producer close to the platform. As for Harry, his aimless knock on a stranger's door in England has become a meme, an unfortunate metaphor for his apparent disconnection from both past and present. What was once framed as a noble break from tradition now appears more like a tragic case of identity drift, exacerbated by a partner who critics say is more focused on aesthetics than authenticity. Whether this public tide can be turned remains uncertain. But one thing is clear: Jon Stewart didn't just tell a few jokes, he stripped back a layer of illusion that many were afraid to touch. And in doing so, he may have forced a reckoning the Sussexes can no longer avoid.